Welcome to the Crypt of Wax. Today we are talking Longinus Wound, Ultra Metal Outlaws, and Metal It Is, isn't it, Mike?
It is indeed. Have you seen their promo photo as well, which is really sort of
With the guns and
sums up the title?
with the guns and whatnot,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
yeah, very metal. Blackened speed metal, I think, is how it's sort of described. You've got kind of tropes of heavy metal in there as well. But I mean, I think metal is just the kind of takeaway from this, isn't it? Like when you hear something, you're just like, "Fuck, this is just as
Yeah, it's
metal as it
very
gets,"
metal.
and you've got to crank it a little bit. This is what I got from that.
It's one of those, right? I saw the artwork for it and thought you're immediately like, right, I've got to listen to this. I've got to hear
Yeah,
what this sounds like.
the artwork's
And
great, isn't it?
the artwork's great, man. And the thing is, it's just an EP, but sometimes when you just hear something and you then think, we should talk about this. This is like,
Yeah. Well, we
you know,
cover
I
the
feel.
latest metal releases, Mike.
I
So
know.
EP album single. Let's
Whatever merch drop, we'll do a t-shirt.
yeah, or
We
six.
won't. We won't do
No,
that. But
no. Unless you want one.
yeah,
Let us know.
yeah. Maybe on Instagram,
Yeah.
John can do that.
Oh, well, but yeah, man, I think it's definitely worth talking about. We've spoke. It's probably the shortest release we've covered in terms of length, but yeah, 4 tracks. Longest track being 6 minutes, and that's the longest by a couple of minutes, even then. But it's just 4 tracks of straight out the gate. Just I don't want to say traditional classic heavy metal because it has that kind of like dark and aggressive tone, doesn't it? But it is like, yeah, black and heavy speed metal.
Yeah. And do you prefer this actually in an EP? Like do you think this style works well for you in like a short blast? Because I think it does for me.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there, man. I think I guess we'll get onto that when we start talking about the songs. But by track 4, not to say I'd had enough, but that initial thrill of the album started to wane a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
know what you mean. I know. I think some of the times for me, this sort of style, because the trouble you get sometimes with this when you go in when you do this sort of style maybe as an album is that you can be tempted to like mix things up with like slower stuff and
yeah,
different, maybe more. I don't want to say acoustic, more mellow influences, and that can either work or it can't, or you end up with an album that's just the same thing for 40 minutes and you can
yeah.
get bored. So I feel like the EP format works very well for this sort of style.
Yeah, EP slash mini album. I think maybe like a six tracks
Yeah,
would be like ideal, wouldn't it?
yeah.
Was it Paranoid? They sort of do smaller releases, don't they?
Yeah, frustratingly actually with them because they just did a ton of like 2-3 track EPs, which could have easily. I think they have compiled that last bunch they did, but it should have been an album. But we're not talking about Paranoid, John, are we?
No, we're not. But similar kind of veins. It
I
is.
know, but that felt more of a conversation to have that's not being recorded.
Yeah, true. Right, Longinus Wound. I think this is their debut as well, their first release. I think they're a new band as well.
They are, yeah. They seem to be a brand new band. It's their first thing that that's come out, and there's no kind of internet footprint at all, apart from a Bandcamp page. They're on Metallum as well, so I did have a look at if there's anything about them. There's nothing, no, not even any member names, so I couldn't see if they were in any other bands previously.
Well, I guess yeah. Well, then we'll dive into the songs. It's like straight out the bat. It's like
They must have,
straight out
to
the
be
bat.
fair,
So
John, they
off the
must have
bat.
been right.
What in other bands? I mean,
Yeah,
it sounds professional to the point where to do this as your first release would be impressive. Like if you weren't in other bands.
yeah, it's accomplished, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's got like a real good. It's just got a great energy to it, and I think that's like apparent as soon as you put it on. Like it is that kind of, I need to crank this kind of thing.
So I pulled a face then because I could hear my 4-year-old running around, and I thought he was going to
Is he?
come in.
Is he blasting Longinus Wound?
He's not, but it's his actions would sound like he was.
um, what I loved about this was I loved the guitar work in it. The riffs were kind of simple but like catchy, but it was the same with the lead lines. The lead lines never did anything outrageous. They were all actually quite really stripped back, very just single note kind of lead lines, quite very simple. You occasionally
I
had
don't know.
like,
There was some pretty impressive soloing in
I was
there.
going to say, you had the odd solo that was showed a bit more flair, but I think on the whole it was all quite. It wasn't flashy, is what I'm trying to say. That the riff writing on this EP, which I think
No.
works well.
Well, also as well, I felt like the riff writing was the thing about it. It was almost the attitude that was sort of approached. It was all done with this sort of element of aggression potentially in there. Like
Yeah,
it was it's so when you hear riffs that are just like they sound cool more than anything, and that's
yeah,
what these are.
yeah. I feel like that's the vibe for this band, though. Right, overall, I think it's just like a cool band,
Yeah,
rather than anything else. Um, what track two had a bit more. I don't know if you picked up on this, but there was a bit more like of a hardcore approach to it.
yeah.
You could take sections in isolation, and you think that it would be off like a hardcore record.
The crossover sort of hardcore thing. I definitely noticed that, but I mean, actually, it was probably one of maybe even my highlight song of it. I thought it was really, really good. There was
Mine too.
what they did do, which kind of differentiated the riff from being like entirely hardcore, was they would do these little run ups at
Yeah,
the end, the sort of harmonized run up at the end of the riff, and it was a really cool addition, which kind of kept that metal edge, if you know what I mean.
yeah, man. And then the kind of verse riff reminded me of High on Fire a little bit. There was a kind of a lot of,
Yeah,
and the vocals on another song reminded me of Matt Pike. So I think there was a lot of High on Fire influence in this.
yeah.
But there was a riff around the 2 minute mark on that Angel Insurgent track too. That it was really stompy. But they
It
introduced
changes the
this.
pace.
Yeah, and they introduced like
Yeah,
a pick scrape into the riff.
yeah.
That just sort of like,
It was cool because it kind of had
yeah,
that, like, quite primitive sort of vibe
yeah,
to it, if you know what I mean. Because the drums were quite busy before with, like, double pedals and fast parts, and it just went to that sort of simple kick drum snare kind of beat, and it was a good change because it was quite sudden, and it was
yeah.
quite sudden coming out of it as well. I think it went into a solo maybe afterwards when it came out a bit fast, and, I like those sudden changes.
Yeah, it sounded almost when it went into it. It sounded almost transitional, but it stayed on that kind of stompy caveman esque beat, and yeah,
Yeah.
that was actually one of my favorite bits on the record. Then track three, "Hair of the Dog That Bit Me." This one felt a bit more chaotic. It was like there was kind of faster riffing. You had more of that kind of like wailing solos in this song.
You had more blast beats as well. I don't know. I don't know if they actually done. I don't know if they actually were doing blast beats up until this one, and then you had that come in. At least it was more prominent in track three.
Yeah, it just felt like this was the more like chaotic, darker song
Yeah,
on the record.
cool.
Yeah, I thought it worked really well. I think vocally, the chorusy hooks, singing like "the hair of the dog that bit me," and like a cool response with that.
Yes.
Sounded really Matt Pike. He had that kind of tone on his vocal, or Lemmy, whichever way you want to look at it. But I thought that song was really cool. And then there was a really great triplet riff at the end, Mike, that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that bit. But yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you about his vocals because what did you think of them?
I thought they were great. I thought they fit the style perfectly. They had that kind of blackened blackened edge to it when he had his main kind of I don't want to call it a scream, but his like main type of vocal. But then when he would do these kind of hooks, they did have that kind of a bit more melody Matt Pike esque sound to it.
Yeah, you had that kind of old school, like, sort of Venom Bathory sort
Yeah, there
of
was a lot of that in here, weren't there?
element to it as well, which was really cool. Like that's for the kind of older heavy metal kind of style, proto sort of black metal
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I think
And you're right, he could hit a hook as well. He knew where to put the hooks in, which I thought also kind of showed that throwback to like heavy metal when there was a bit more emphasis on putting actual
hooks in.
chorus and hooks into the vocals.
When I mentioned that it's like blackened speed slash heavy. I do mean kind of like first wave, not that kind of Norwegian
Yeah.
sound. It's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah, yeah,
got
yeah.
that kind of Bathory influence. But then track 4 is like the longest track, Year of Our Lord. For me, it felt like there was the most melody in this track. There was a lot of like
Mm.
harmonizing. There was a lot of melody in the kind of guitar work. Not to say it was like soft, but there was just a lot of.
There's a lot of there was speed in this though as well, wasn't there?
There
I
was,
thought
yeah.
when I saw it, when I just looked at the track listing, my assumption was it's the last song on the album. It's longer than the other songs. It's probably going to be slow. So I was really pleasantly surprised when it wasn't. And it did slow down at the end. And actually, my only criticism of this EP was there was a part of it where it was a really good section of that last song, and then it sort of stopped, and then it stopped almost dead, and then went into this other riff, and the transition there felt a little bit
Disjointed.
not as thought out as the others. It felt a little bit like it was attacked, like it felt like two songs being put together. If you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. I think I know the point you mean. I feel a similar way. Was it that kind of? It went a little bit more evil. The riff. It was a little bit more. There was like a kind of dark, like a black metal riff in there. That was like kind of the first time they
That
went
was cool. That was cool. But then I think it was after
after
that it
that.
sort of
Yeah,
stopped, and it just stopped on the guitar doing like a more melodic kind of
that's right. And then went
muted
back
riff,
into the kind of melody
and then it was like
driven,
slower, and it was then it sort of slowed for like a more of an
and
ending
that was the
style
end.
part. But the
Yeah.
two sections just felt a little bit tacked on to one another. Really, that was my only thing. I actually liked track 4 in general, but I felt like those two parts. But I'm nitpicking.
Yeah,
Really,
I
it
mean,
was yeah.
yeah, we are nitpicking. I think like this is a great like introduction to the band. I think like I'm excited to see.
Oh, it's great, man. I'm really excited to see what comes out next.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Hopefully, just
If I think I'm a little bit more excited, then
yeah, I think you probably are. I'll put this down. You win that one, Mike. Well done.
only just a little bit,
Yeah,
just enough for it to be a bit more.
just a touch. Listen, if you have got to this point in the video, thanks for sticking around and checking it out. If you like what we do here, we put out videos every Wednesday and Friday covering the latest metal releases, EPs, albums, or as Mike says,
Demos.
uh, demos, band announcements. No, we're not a news outlet,
What
but
about teasers when they just do 30 seconds?
yeah, of ambience as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, we'll cover it. We'll cover it all. Listen, we are the place for new music. So hit that subscribe
in
button
metal.
in metal. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, get that one in there, Mike. But yeah, smash that subscribe button if you like what you heard, or hit the like because it does help us out. And yeah, check this one out because it is fucking good.
it's good fun.
It's good fun. Yeah, nice one. All right, we'll catch you in the next one.